new freebie for you that you do not want to miss, especially if you're a business owner that desires to have more flow. The new freebie is down below on the description for this podcast, or if you're watching the YouTube video version of the podcast and you want to see all my amazing hand movements and my cute yellow outfit today, then that is down below in the YouTube description. Before we jump in, everybody, please make sure that you subscribe to the episode because it really helps other people find the episode. And let's jump in to today. So today we have kind of a blend. I was going to do an episode on talking about my top manifestation secrets, never forget. But then I also just really felt, and maybe it's the fucking moon, maybe it's Mercury retrograde, maybe it's my luteal phase, I don't know, but I really felt like I haven't done an episode in a while where I've just like done some real talk. And I know that you guys like this. So I'm going to start the episode off by kind of giving you guys, Jelly, can you not do that? By kind of giving you guys a little bit of a not life update to be honest, but just kind of what's going on, how I'm navigating things, all these new things that are happening in my life. And it blends really well into the topic of manifestation because I am stretching. Like I am stretching. So I want to inspire you guys to one, learn from my stretching, but also to maybe this episode will act like as an expander for some of you to realize these new stretches that you might have down the road. Because I really wouldn't have thought of these stretches down the road, to be honest. Or maybe I would have, but like I'm fucking living them right now. So I want to give them to you as I'm living them because I feel like that's very powerful when you hear and when you feel and when you see somebody living through stretches. It can be very expansive. So first things first, if you are wondering where the fuck did the What Would Monica Do segment go? This kind of blends into the real talk. Honestly, guys, I couldn't keep up with doing 2 episodes a week. I would love to say that I could, but between having approximately 4 client calls a day, group client calls every week, making Instagram content, making making podcasts. Well, I do the Instagram captions too, writing emails, replying to emails, running programs, replying to my clients, maintaining a relationship, having somewhat of a social life. And I'm kind of grateful sometimes that I live in Atlanta now because I don't really have many friends here, which I love, because then I can just focus on me. And then when I go back to New York, I can be crazy with my friends and get all that out of my system. Because if I was still living in New York right now, I don't think I would actually be here on this podcast. I think I would be deceased by now. So between all of that, I am like my book coming out and trying to write my book. And I just now plan a wedding. I'm sure you guys can realize, yeah, probably not time to easily record 2 high quality episodes a week. And that's the thing with me. I don't just want to give you guys fluffy, shitty episodes because I hate when I listen to a podcast where I'm like, this is not giving me any details. This is not giving me any juice. It's not making me feel like I want to keep listening. Nothing worse. So I don't want to do that for you guys. And I'm constantly thinking of new podcast episodes to give you. And so I don't want to give you 2 shitty episodes a week. I want to give you 1 pow episode a week. And what that has meant is the What Would Monica Do segments aren't disappearing. You might just not be seeing them. And the reason that you might not be seeing them is because I am now going to be answering them in the behind the scenes bubble. That's how they get sent through. And that is now how I'm going to answer them. It honestly is a lot more doable for me to answer it in that rather than sit down and do a whole podcast. Then, my team's got to edit it and all the things have to happen. I can simply reply on a walk whilst laying in the backyard, whilst cooking dinner. It's just more sustainable for me. And I am in this phase right now with business, with life, with fucking everything, where if it does not feel like it is the greatest use of my time, and if it does not feel like the return on investment is high, then I'm not going to do it. So let me give you an example. I'm going to announce it here. I think I might have announced it on a previous episode too. I am going to not start my YouTube channel because I already have one and I started it a long time ago, but I'm actually going to start posting again on there like I used to, of tips, nuggets, etc. Basically, the things that you see on my Instagram, you can expect to see movie versions, TV show versions on YouTube in the next coming weeks. My goal is to do 2 a month. I'm not holding myself to it, but that would be really great. You guys are going to have an epic behind the scenes video for my Australia event, although you might actually have two, because we're going to do a lot of behind the scenes of, I've got things from like the planning phases. I've got things from, the packing, or I'll film things for the packing. We'll film the kind of trip over there. We're gonna film a lot. So that's an example of that's going to give me a higher ROI. That's going to feel more sustainable. And let me kind of explain to you why. So the thing with Instagram, and I love it, and I'm not going to stop posting on Instagram stories because literally it's like glued to my hands, and it's just, I've created a habit out of it. And that consistency is really important for any of you business owners. Just remember that. The reason why is I'm at a place now, 6 years into this business, or 5 years, hold on, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I'm 6 years in. This is my 6th year of business. And granted, 2018, I didn't make any money till the end of the year, but I'm still very proud of that year. And I still count that a year of business because I was fucking trying. And just because I wasn't making any money does not mean it wasn't a year. So, I mean, if we wanted to really go into even the years where I made like $200, we'd be saying I'm like 10 years in business, but we're going to say 6 because I really, really started trying with this kind of work, with period coaching and whatnot in 2018. Anyway, that's for next week's episode. You guys got a whole business Q&A where you've asked questions about the evolution of everything. 6 years in, I have built a really incredible community, and I love you guys for it. And I love what I've built. I also really know myself, and I also really know my capacity. And I also have in mind always that I don't want to burn out. I fucking work hard. I'm not afraid of burning out because I'm not going to. I know my limits and I work really hard. Even just before I went downstairs and I was just speaking to my fiance, and he was like, babe, I hate that you have to go record a podcast. And I was like, why? And he was like, because I just want you to relax. Like, I don't want you to have to work so hard. I don't, I know that you have a lot on your plate right now. And, I know that you're, pushing through to get to Australia, but I just wish that you didn't have to right now. And I wish that you could just relax and calm your mind. And I'm like, this is why I love you. Like, if that's not the energy of a protector and a provider, I don't know what is. Anyway, but I'm at a point now where, I spend a lot of time with clients. I make a lot of content for you guys. I'm revamping MMM2. I'm re-recording all the modules so they're fresh, and so that you have higher quality content in terms of audio and visual, and also you have the freshest me and the newest me. I also have been re-recording a bunch of stuff in the Feminine CEO, and point is, and I'm also going through and re-recording the man and kind of changing it for men as well, so that it can be more doable for them and more easily accessible. Anyway, between all of that and clients and all the rest of the things that I'm doing, it's frustrating when I hate it when kids scream and you're like, is somebody dying or are you guys just playing? I don't know the difference between the scream levels. I heard someone scream the other day and I ran outside so fast because I literally thought someone had been stabbed. That is also America. Anyway, point is the thing with Instagram, as much as I love it, is obviously when I post an Instagram story for you guys, it goes away after 24 hours. So if you miss it, you've missed that content, which you might be bummed about because always good behind the scenes stuff and great nuggets. But I'm also bummed about it because it's like I'm putting in so much work every day, and you can't re-watch something or watch something a week later. You have to watch it that day in order to see it. So I'm starting to play with the idea of doing longer form content on YouTube because I think for me, and this is much a very real talk podcast. We'll go into the manifestation stuff soon. I feel like I need to be able to give long form content in a sustainable way. I like to give length to things, especially with what I am doing, like with my book and with the wedding coming up. I can't give that to you in a few fucking Instagram stories. And I want to give you guys behind the scenes because I wish when I was growing my business and even now, I wish that I knew greater expanders that were really good at showing the real behind the scenes content, but also giving like nuggets and advice and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically what I want to do, is what I do on Instagram stories with behind the scenes stuff and like just day-to-day shit, but doing it on YouTube where I can literally give explanations of what I'm doing and share with you guys what I'm doing and share more behind the scenes stuff. And why I want to do this also is because then you guys can rewatch these expansive videos for you, re-listen to these nuggets, have this entertainment, and not feel like you have to be glued to your phone every day in order to catch everything that I'm doing. Because I know for me, for some of the people that I love following, I hate that when I see their Instagram story, I have to watch it. Well, it feels like I have to, because otherwise I'm going to miss content that I want to see of theirs. I want to see their content. And it's like, if it was on YouTube or if it was on some other way where I could see it 3 days later, I'd much rather be able to watch it when I can actually receive it and enjoy it and not be trying to do it between something else, if that makes sense. So I'm in a phase where I'm really trying to think about what is actually going to be more sustainable for me. What is going to allow me, what can I do that I can continue to do when I'm a mum or when I'm busy with like book launch stuff. And you guys would have also noticed that I'm putting out a lot more blogs. I'm writing really lengthy emails. I'm putting a lot more into my emails in the last, 6 to 8 months. And the reason why I'm doing all of these things is because I want to encourage you guys to get the fuck off your phone, but also because I need to continue my business without feeling like I have to show up on Instagram every day and only a fraction of you really see the content. But I want all of you guys to be able to see the content, hear the content, receive the content, and like take on all the education. And so it almost feels like a disservice sometimes when I'm posting, but not everybody can see something. It's like a bummer. It really is, because I put so much into being able to show these things to you all. So, anyway, the sustainability piece is a really important piece that I'm factoring into my life right now. And this week has been a fucking testing week. And I'm actually really glad this week has happened as hard as it's been. It's only Thursday, but I'm going to New York Friday, tomorrow morning. So it almost feels like the week's over. But point is that this week, all of a sudden on my calendar, there's been like 5 book meetings added, so many other things. We're flying to Australia next week. I'm trying to finish up event things. Like, there is so much fucking happening. I cannot. And I wouldn't say like I've been a little bit overwhelmed, but I'm really good at managing that. It's just more been that I'm just like, I don't like this. I don't like feeling like I don't have enough space to do admin things. I don't like feeling like I'm scrambling a little bit on content or Instagram, or you know what I mean? I don't like that. It's not a nice feeling, but especially when I worked so hard on building this consistent, beautiful, really strong brand. So anyway, the point of all of this is this week it's been challenging with the way that it's tested my time management, my productivity, my nervous system, and it's tested it, and it's been beautiful because I'm like, I'm good. But I could not do this week after week after week after week. I would be deceased. I mean, I'm going to be deceased after when we're on the plane to Australia. I'm actually looking forward to that 14-hour flight, so that well, not 14 hours, longer than that. Once we get to LA and then fly LA to Sydney, I'm very much looking forward to just being in a coma for 14 hours and sleeping and recovering and just like being disconnected from the world and being able to just fucking focus on things I want to focus on. And there is so many exciting things coming up with this book. But what's also stretched me this week is, Bubba, you want to get up? What's also stretched me this week is not only the extra meetings that have been put on my calendar, and therefore there's less time for me to do, Instagram content, let's say. That's actually not what's been stretching me. That's not the only thing that's been stretching me. What's also been stretching me is the fact that I'm self-publishing. I'm kind of doing a hybrid model. So I am basically going through a publisher, but I own everything. And so essentially there's pros and cons. And one of the cons, depending how you see it, I don't actually see it as a con, is that you pay upfront. It also means that you will make a lot more money if your book's a success, obviously, because you make all of the money back. You're not paying, you don't make 5% of it. And it means that you have a lot more autonomy over the process and all those kind of things, which is really important for me and I'm really excited about and whatnot. But it also means that you are doing it all. And you know what? I've talked to people actually that have gone through traditional publishing and they still had to do all of their marketing. The publishing house surprisingly didn't really help with marketing stuff. They gave ideas, but they weren't like putting heap money behind it, which is interesting. Anyway, what's really stretched me is how much these things cost. And I knew how much these cost, and I don't have to all of a sudden just pay all of them. But I'm at a new level in my business where I'm not paying one employee. I'm paying 5 plus contractors, retainers, graphic designers, and then adding in there digital marketers, PR people, who was one of the other ones, some like growth dude something or other for the book. I can't remember exactly what he does. And there was somebody else that my guy like recommended me to. So I basically have this one guy and he's kind of managing everything with the book. I'm obsessed with him. He's like the grandfather, not the grandfather, he's not that old, but like I would trust him with my children. He just has the best energy, the biggest heart, and so fucking genuine, which I love. And so he's kind of bringing in all of these people to make it a success. And what's so beautiful is he's saying to me, like, he's older, right? So, which I fucking love because he's like, yeah, you're a woman. Like, this is a lot for you. I get it. Like, so much logistics. And, he can see my face drop and like on these calls as soon as logistics starts happening because it's like, it's a lot on my brain. I'm like, wait, what is happening? And, I get these proposals and it's like $27,000 and this many $1,000 and $6,000 here and 1,500 here and 3,000 here. That's just for book. But then you add on paying a whole team. So it's a lot to say the least. And this level of business is exciting because I have to remember, and this is a reminder for you, you will get to a place where you're like, this is so much. Or you could. But you also have wanted this. Like I have manifested being at this place in my business where I have a full-time executive assistant with a lot of experience. I have a full-time beautiful Meg that runs the operations of programs and a bunch of other things. I have a COO. I have my beautiful Olivia who does customer service. I have help with marketing now. Like when I say help, I mean like I've got someone that does, some of the graphic design and helps bounce ideas with me. I actually still do all the marketing and I love that. I don't know whether that will stay forever, but I have somebody that I can shoot a sales page to and be like, hey, thoughts. And they can tell me like it's perfect or tweak these few words. And I have a team that supports me. What's funny, right, is that you get to this place where it's like, this is what I wanted, but then you keep adding more. So it's like you've got your manifestation, you're still manifesting, you have what you've always wanted, but you're still like, I don't have enough. It's this like multi-layered thing where all of these different things are happening at one time. And that's why it's important that we all stop and actually appreciate what we've created for ourselves, because there was a time when I wanted to be in this place. If you own your own business or if you are just an A-type person, you will probably always have this thing of, I want more, I want more, I want more. And I have that. I've learned to stop and appreciate and actually sit for a little bit and be like, I actually want a month where we have no more things coming in, where it's just calm. I never used to be able to do that, but I also still have this inner flame and fire and ambition that is like, okay, next thing. And that is the way that I manifest. I had this joke and I've honestly probably said it to you guys before on the podcast. Sometimes I'll say to the universe, okay, slow down. This is too much at one time. Because when you get really good at manifesting, you will manifest and manifest and manifest. And then often it can come like what feels like a giant tidal wave. And then you're like, wait, this is too much. And it's like, is it too much? Or are you in a phase of intense stretching where you need to learn to actually stretch to this new level because this is what you've always wanted? So right now, I'm in a phase where I'm stretching to a new level. And what's actually funny is I've been craving this for a while. I've been craving a really intense stretch because, as some of you know, maybe some of you don't know, I would generally like throw myself into stretches of moving homes, moving cities, moving countries. I would do it to myself because I love stretching, and I am the kind of manifester that has to throw fire under me to get me fucking moving. So I would like pay a coach a heap of money to like stretch me so that I show up at a whole new level, so that I learn all these new things. I'm in a whole completely different energy, so I'm fully expanded and etc. But I've actually been in this phase for the last kind of, I guess like 6 to 8 months where I'm like, I don't feel like I'm being forced to stretch. Like I want to stretch. I'm doing it to myself, but no one else is doing it to me. And what I mean by this is like, I haven't felt the need, and this is kind of thing in the coaching space, we have to always be paying a coach. No, you don't. Like if you don't fucking need one, or if you don't want one, then you don't have to. I actually do have a coach, but she's my leadership coach and whatnot. And I don't pay her to like be in her energy or anything. I pay her because she's fucking good at what she does and I need her help. But point is that there's been nobody for a little bit where I'm like, oh, I really am desperate to be in her energy. Oh yeah, like I really want to pay you all this money to be able to learn X, Y, and Z. Cause I'm like, not to be like, I know everything, but like I am good with business. I'm good with all those things. It's just that I now am in a phase where other adventures are not adventures, actually, other ventures are expanding me. So now the other venture that is expanding me is my book, and is this guy that's been publishing books for years and knows these incredible people and is like in with it and like, all that kind of stuff. And him setting up all these ridiculous meetings and sending me an email being like, hey, Monica, I've set you up with a meeting with blah, blah, blah. I want you guys to be introed. I think you make a really good team. Like, Catherine, can you, get this meeting booked in, la, la, la. Like, that's now the expander. And then like, hey, great to meet you yesterday, Monica. Here's the proposal, $27,000. Okay, yep. And I'm not saying that, like, the reality is that $27,000, I can pay it. Like I shared with you guys before, I'm now in a phase of life where it's like I'm in a relationship, I'm paying a mortgage, I want to have a family, I want to have plenty of money to be able to pay for our dream wedding. I have a big team and I'm paying them all salaries. We haven't even finished doing our house. Like I want to have money to be able to pay to continue to do our house. I want to be able to go on these travel things, and like I want to be able to fly to Australia to see my friend get married next year. I don't want to have to be like, oh my God, like I can't take that time off, or like, paying a ridiculous amount of money for a fucking first class seat for Australia. Like what is with the flight prices to Australia lately still? Anyway, I don't want to have to feel limited by anything. And I know that you guys don't want to either. So it's like, how do you find like, and you guys ask me this all the time. I ask this question all the time. So it's like, how do you find the feeling where you don't feel limited, but you also like don't want to spend ridiculous money and put yourself in a bad situation? And when it comes to these book expenses, I'm having to stretch my capacity to feel safe at this new level, to feel safe in paying all of these people, to feel safe in trusting that my business is going to continue to make revenue, to feel safe in knowing that I'm going to continue to be able to show up in my business and be healthy, to continue to grow everything. It is not actually for me at this stage about where do I spend my money, what do I prioritize, because I actually have to be like, I'm doing it all, and that's my mindset. I'm going to do it all. So it's like, what do I need to do in order to do it all, rather than what has to change with the money? It's what has to change with me to ensure that I'm in a place where I actually can do it all. And so really it's about stretching to a new limit and like breaking through my ceiling. And there's multiple things that are required for this. It's not just like paying the invoice and being like, okay, cool. It's paying the invoice and then completely refining my calendar and creating new boundaries and having all this new masculine structure so that I can actually then show up to make that $27,000 really worth it and to get the highest ROI from it. Oh, every dog is coming into the podcast studio. Hi, everyone. Okay, lie down, Phoebe. You're so big, you're gonna help with the soundproofing. If you guys remember from last year, I released the first round of the Meta Money Bundle and it was a fucking hit. So if you don't know what the Meta Money Bundle is, it is a combination with a few extras of MMM level 2, Magic Money Manifestation level 2, and then also Be a Lover, Not a Mother. So the beautiful thing about the Meta Money Bundle is that it's really all about you improving your ability to manifest through also healing your relationship with men. Because the thing is, manifestation is about receiving. But if you cannot receive from men, if you do not feel safe around men, if you cannot open your heart to men, if you do not feel safe to be in your feminine, then guess what? You aren't going to be able to manifest as well. So with the Men at Money bundle, there is a bonus live Q&A vibes, and there's also a bonus quantum manifestation class that I will be hosting from Europe. Naturally, where else would I would do it? I'll be hosting those two things for you if you join the Men and Money bundle. And in that bundle, you get a discount compared to buying Magic Money Manifestation level 2 and Be a Lover Not a Mother. There's a little bit of a discount. There is a early bird price, so you want to make sure that you're on the wait list. And there is also the bonuses. So if you want to upgrade your manifestation abilities, MMM level 2, it's also getting updated. Vibes, I'm adding new modules as well. And the current modules will be updated. And then you also get Be a Lover, Not a Mother, which also has been recently updated. So this year is the year of like fucking fresh, if I don't say so myself. So that is opening soon. Make sure that you're on the wait list. Make sure that you've also joined the June Manifestation Challenge that we're running through emails because they are juicy. I've written them all myself and they're all things that I do myself. They're also going to upgrade your manifestation abilities in easy ways for you to implement into your life. It's the stretching. It's the stretching for a lot of us that can be very uncomfortable and we repel it. So what can happen is you can then repel what it is that you manifest because as soon as you start to get it, you're like, this is too much. And it's that remembering that you've always been manifesting this. So yeah, it's too much for the current version of you, but it's not too much for the next version of you. Because for her, like as my program, for her, this is her normal. So what has to happen so that you can embody this new level as being your normal? And this kind of leads into the second half of this topic, right, for today's podcast, which is around how do you make everyday things a manifestation experience? Because if you're busy and you don't have 3 hours to sit down and like do some chanting and visualize and journal and do all the things and light candles, then it's like, okay, well, how do I fit this in? Or if you actually are stressed, or if there's actually things going on with money or like all these financial things where you have to maybe choose, how can that become an experience of manifestation? And here's the key thing is that everybody can manifest because us having our like the goals that you have in your life, you as a human on this planet can achieve them. Because the laws of the universe, the laws of manifestation, all those things that cause manifestation to happen, all those things that allow you to manifest, like it is imprinted into your body and into the earth. It's just about you actually having the attention around it and doing it. And like, you got to think about it. Even as a really basic example, if you weren't on social media, if you weren't watching shitty TV shows, if you weren't eating bad food, your mindset would already be better. You wouldn't have so many negative thoughts. And then if your mindset was better and you believe that more is possible for yourself, then guess what? You are immediately going into the law of attraction, the law of assumption. And then you're going to take more action because you're feeling better. Like the flow on effect from doing good things for yourself is one where manifestation then becomes an embodied experience. It just becomes something that you live out and you're not trying. You know, you putting your skincare on can become a manifestation experience, or it can become a low vibe experience where you fucking hate yourself. If you're buying yourself cheap skincare because you don't think that you deserve anything better, how do you feel when you put that skincare on as you go to bed, and then you imprint that into your DNA and into your energy field as you're sleeping, and then that just carries on every day throughout your life until one day you decide, I'm actually going to spend a little bit more on skincare. And then you have this whole new experience of doing your skincare before you go to bed. And that could completely transform your mindset when you go to sleep. And then thus, when you wake up, your mindset is different. For me, what I've noticed and what I love about the way in which I teach manifestation and the way in which I deliver it to you is I want you guys to have it as something that's just really easy. And it's a way that you live your life. Because for me anyway, like I'm a busy woman. I don't have time to be doing, I wish, but I like legitimately don't have time. And you know what? I shouldn't even say I don't have time. I don't prioritize because I don't like want to. I could say like I can't prioritize it, or it's just like you know, as much as I would love to have it as the top of my to-do list, I can't. But the thing is, I actually could. So in reality, I want to do other things more. And that's why naturally they get prioritized. You know, I want to write an Instagram caption for you guys or make a reel or write an email. I want to do that more than I want to do a manifestation practice. But How could I make the writing of an email become a manifestation practice? And when you have that kind of mindset where you make manifestation a part of your everyday existence, you don't make it this outside thing where you have to sit down and like do this whole fucking thing and do this whole practice and do this whole ceremony. You actually make it something that you're doing in every moment, which means that it is more sustainable, it's more durable, and you then do it more consistently. So even for example, let's say when I'm sitting on these book meetings, right? And some of these book meetings, it's not like we're 100% going with this person. It's a lot of intros, a lot of meeting people. It's a lot of what could they do? And actually, I get so excited and then I get overwhelmed. Or like I get so excited and then I get stressed or whatever it is. I go like straight from excitement to overwhelm or stress sometimes with these things because I'll get so into vision, inspiration, so into the high vibes on the call. And then when it gets down to the logistics, I'm like, how the fuck do I have time in my calendar to do the action steps required to get the results that I want? And my fiance actually reminded me really well last night. He grabbed me and he was like, babe, I just want to remind you that the reason why you're doing these meetings before you go to Australia is because you're away for 3 weeks. And he was like, you do not have to make any decisions for frankly months. They all said they could start working just 3 months before the book comes out. So like you don't have to make a decision right now. You're telling yourself you have to, and that's because you're excited, but you don't have to. And it was a really good reminder because like the excitement and the nerves can feel the same, right? And so sometimes we blend the two and we get confused of which one is it. And sometimes what will happen is that we get really excited about something and then that can turn into, a spiraling of like, oh my God, how am I going to do it? Or what's going to happen? And blah, blah, blah. Or negative things can come up of, well, if that happens, what are people going to think of me? Are people going to leave my life because all of a sudden I have X, Y, and Z? People don't like, are they going to judge me because I have money or because I got this promotion or whatever it is? And so the excitement can turn into anxiousness. And then from that state of anxiousness, we repel the manifestation versus knowing that the excitement is there to guide you and being like, this is the right decision. This is leading you towards something. Just because something is like I'm going through this right now to a whole other level of what I've ever gone through before. Just because something is a stretch, or because it's a lot of money, or because it's really uncomfortable because of how new it is, or because it feels like a risk, it doesn't mean that it's a wrong decision. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. If you're excited about something, if you're excited about the possibilities, that physical response in your body, that where it feels good, it feels exciting, that should be enough for you to trust yourself that you will show up fully, that you will manage expectations, that you will ask the right questions so that you can show up fully and that you will get the results. So I'll give you an example of like asking the right questions so you can show up fully to then get what it is that you're trying to get, right? And feel better in that stretch. So as an example, we were meeting with a digital marketer yesterday and I asked him a question, for example, of it was something around the lines of, okay, so what would be the things that I need to do before I start working with you, or what are the things that I could do before I start working with you, so that as soon as I sign those papers and as soon as I pay that invoice, we can literally hit the ground running and there's no other pieces that I have to do. And what that allowed me to feel was security in knowing that I've done everything that I could do to make sure that this goes as fast as possible in a good way, as in the growth happens as fast as possible, or as in I get ROI as quickly as possible on my money. And also so that I don't feel like, oh my fucking God, I slowed myself down, or like, oh my God, I have to get all this shit done this week, but I don't have any time, but I have to get this done because otherwise it's going to slow them down. No, I want to make sure with these people that they're not waiting on me to do a million things, because then that's going to make me feel overwhelmed and be like, I can't fucking do this. This is too much. So knowing, for example, what I have on my plate day to day, I can then think ahead to ensure that this stretch is a positive thing and I don't repel it by asking questions of basically like, what can everybody else do for me? And what do I have to do? And I want like a month's notice so that I have plenty of time to do the things, right? So being stretched, like it's a thing, but I really hope everything that I just gave you guys is really helpful, because when you're being stretched, it is a good thing. Being stretched is uncomfortable. because that is what it feels like to get outside your comfort zone. But like, my book isn't going to be a fucking bestseller or incredible if I'm not willing to stretch outside my comfort zone. Like, how could it be? That would be a ridiculous expectation for me to have on myself, the universe, anything. So, that's really important. And then also, even as you're stretching, really through that stretching process, it's so important that you don't just immediately try to get to the end of the stretch, because there are little moments, like almost stepping stones through that stretch, where it's like, oh my God, these fucking growing pains. But those little stepping stones are important that you take, because there's lessons, there's implementations, there's actions, there's embodiment that has to happen at those little steps, so that when you get to the end of the stretch, it really becomes your new floor that you're standing on, and you're not like halfway between and then go down a level, if that makes sense. You want to make sure that like after this stretch, it's like, okay, this is my new fucking comfort zone. I am like in a whole new phase, a whole new level, I've taken a huge leap up. Like, now my ceiling is my floor. That is only going to happen if at every little step through that stretch, you've really allowed it to take the time to embody each of those steps, and you haven't just rushed through and gotten to the end because of the discomfort. Because then you haven't embodied that experience. It hasn't like anchored into your nervous system, where then at the end you feel safe to have this at your new level, right? You need to feel safe when you get to the end of the stretch for this to be your new level. But that can only happen if if you are taking those stepping stones along the way. Right. Damn, I really wasn't expecting the episode to go in that direction, to be honest. I'd written notes down, like, let me see. I'm like, they're probably shit now that I look at them. You know, yeah, honestly, what just channeled through for you guys was 10 times better than what I wrote. I'm so glad that I sat down tonight with a big, big thing of water, a reminder to drink your water, and did this, because I feel like that was therapeutic for me. And I want to re-listen to this episode, because that was fully channeled, especially when I got to the manifestation bit of like the stretching, fully channeled. And I want to pull this bit and quite literally put it in Magic Money Manifestation Level 2 and also the Feminine CEO, so that this episode never gets skipped over and that chunk never gets skipped over, because that was so good. I don't even remember what I said. That happens when I'm just like in a deep channel, but I need to re-listen to this. And wait, there must be like something going on. And I guess this is actually me stretching this week. This makes so much sense, because this week on so many of my client calls, my clients have been like mind blown with the shit that I've said or processed. I made up a new modality today, actually, and my client was like, "That was such a good process, Monica." I was like, "I know," and I just made that up on the spot, like it fully channeled through. And she was like, "You need to write that one down." I was like, "I know. I literally wrote in my to-do list after my session with her to go back and rewatch what I did and write it down as a new modality, because it was so good." But I've had so many sessions this week where I've just channeled through shit, where I'm like, I literally write it on my to-do list to go back to certain timestamps in their Zoom calls and write down what I said, because it was so fucking good. And maybe that's another thing, right? And this is a legit thing, is as you stretch and as you grow, if you are highly clairvoyant or clairaudient or claircognizant, I'm all three, like they're all going to stretch to new levels, because you're allowing yourself to embrace your deep self-trust, embrace the trust of the universe, but most importantly, you are fully embracing and saying okay to the energetic things that are coming into your life. And isn't that a beautiful, beautiful thing, right? I really want you guys to remember that you are fully in control of your future. And it's so easy to sit there and write down your manifestations every week and say that you want them, but it's also so easy to repel your manifestations without knowing. And what's funny is, even this week, I was doing business and money work with a client who did a mini one-on-one package. Speaking of mini one-on-one packages, there's going to be very limited amounts for the rest of the year, just so you guys know, because I have my book coming out. We have another round of Queen Alchemy. You cannot do a mini one-on-one during those months of Queen Alchemy. So there may only be about 3 spaces left for the rest of the year. I actually need to say that to Meg so that she can like block my calendar, because I obviously need to be focused on my book that's coming out in November, and then Queen Alchemy is September and October. So really, I think the only month actually for doing a mini one-on-one package is going to be August, if I'm correct. And right now, I looked at my calendar the other day. There's 2 mini one-on-one packages available for August. So maybe get on that. Or maybe there's one left for July too. But anyway, there's going to be very limited for the rest of the month. And I think the last month that I will actually take any is August. And we've already booked out for June for mini one-on-ones, just FYI. So maybe there's some for July and there's some for August, but there'll be max 4 spaces left probably for the rest of the year. Whatever. The point is that I was doing this mini one-on-one client, also not doing this mini one-on-one client, Jesus. I was doing a session with her and we were working on like money and calling more money in, but feeling safe to hold money. And what was really interesting is that, and it was like a big channel thing where she was like, hot damn. And when you see a parent and you feel like your parent hasn't looked after you, whether it was with money, whether it was with, resources, whatever it is, that can create a really push and pull relationship with you and your resources and your money and your manifestations. Because in one hand, you're like, I don't want to be like my mom. I want to have lots of money. I want to be able to have lots of resources. But then at the same time, if your body still thinks that it's normal to have a lack, it creates this push and pull. And if you have resentment to one of your parents or both of your parents for not, making you feel safe with money or with resources or with food or whatever it is, and you haven't healed that resentment, you could also be holding on to that resentment towards that parent. And that resentment towards the parent is also blocking you from making more money too, because resentment is a really heavy energy. And if you're resenting a parent for like, you didn't look after me well enough, or you made me feel stressed about money all the time, that resentment can then make you feel like it isn't safe for you to have a lot of money because you don't want to resent yourself for not handling it well, for doing something wrong with it, or you resent yourself for not having enough money right now. And the resentment around not having enough money right now is then causing you to block yourself from calling in more money, because your sense of safety in your body is like your norm, for want of a better word, your norm is resentment around money. And if that is your norm, then why would you call in a situation where money feels good? That is outside your comfort zone. That is weird. That is not your norm. So you have to obviously then do work around making your norm I feel safe around having lots of money, and healing that resentment towards the parent, towards yourself, whatever it is. Anyway, it's been a very intuitive, intense, incredible week. And I really hope this podcast was amazing for you guys, because it was amazing for me. I feel so good after sharing this all with you. So thank you for that. I want to give you a heads up of the episodes that are coming up as well, so that you just know that. So the week of the Australia event, I'm actually giving myself a little bit of a break that week. I got to record episodes before I go, just so that we know, just so I'm not stressed whilst I'm over there about recording something and whatnot. So I can really enjoy my time with like friends, trying on wedding dresses, getting my wedding dress made. And by the way, if you're not on the email list, I'm actually sending out quite a few behind the scenes emails whilst we're away. I'm actually getting a custom dress made for the wedding, and I'm going to see a bunch of different designers and try on different things and get different sketches done. So if you are on the email list, you will be getting lots of fun emails in the next few weeks about behind the scenes of wedding stuff, event stuff, etc., which will be really fun. So make sure you check them. The email list is below if you would like to join it. I don't spam. I don't do like salesy emails. I actually do like really intense like tip emails, like here are the things to do kind of thing. I hope that you guys print them, save them, and fucking do them, because it takes me a long time to write them. But anyway, next week I'm doing an epic episode for you guys where you all left fabulous questions about the evolution of my brand and my business. And I'm really excited to go into this, because I hate how many people think that running a business is easy and it happens overnight, and like social media just makes running a business feel like it's a fucking breeze. And it really can be sometimes, but it also cannot be. And so I'm going to talk about that with you guys next week. It's going to be really juicy. I'll definitely be sharing some fucking truths and getting real. And then the week after I answer all those business questions for you all, I then am going to be sharing a meditation on the podcast, which you guys can listen to. So obviously I have all my meditations on my website, but I will be giving you guys a free meditation on the podcast. So it'll be really easy for you to listen to on your phone and refer back to, which I'm very much looking forward to. So that is going to be the week, maybe after the event or around the event. I can't remember. I'm going to do that. Maybe there'll be another little mini episode. I don't know. But that's kind of the plan at the moment, just so that you all know and can look forward to that. So that is what's coming up. There might be some others thrown in between. You never know. And before I go, I want to share with you one of the What Would Monica Do questions that I will be answering this month. I will answer more as well, that you guys leave in the behind the scenes bubbles. This one is from Alicia. And Alicia says, what would Monica do if she was feeling homesick about the last city she lived in before moving to be closer to her boyfriend? And like reminiscing about life and the things she used to do, places she used to go, the catch ups with her friends, etc. So I'm going to answer that because been there, done that. Actually kind of had that this week, to be honest. So I am going to share that with you guys this month. And there's also a few others that I will be answering in the behind the scenes bubbles. If you want to join that, the link is below as well. I will see you guys in the next episode. As usual, if you haven't left a review, please do so. Do not forget that when you leave a review on the podcast, send a screenshot to us, media@monicagateshealth.com, and I will send you a free meditation for you to download and enjoy. And it's a beautiful meditation for all things coming back to your energy. All right, which is so important for a lot of us. I know things get a little bit hectic in the middle of the year, and it's been an intense Mercury retrograde. I don't know about you guys, but I have felt it between that fucking Scorpio full moon and the Mercury in retrograde. I've had so many tech issues this time, like so many communication things. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. Anyway, with that, I'm going to love you and leave you guys. Thank you for tuning in for another episode, and I will see you guys next Wednesday.